The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol, morphine, or idealism. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Show me a sane man, and I will cure him for you. There's no coming to consciousness without pain. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light of meaning in the darkness of mere being. In all chaos, there is a cosmos, in all disorder a secret order. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. If an attractive woman is single, it's because she's smarter than everyone else. Whatever is rejected from the self appears in the world as an event. The stakes are, after all, the foundations of truth, and if a man does not know what a thing is, it is at least an increase in knowledge if he knows what it is not. The greatest tragedy of the family is the unlived lives of the parents. Where wisdom reigns, there is no conflict between thinking and feeling. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct acting from inner necessity. The creative mind plays with the objects it loves. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. The best political, social, and spiritual work we can do is to withdraw the projection of our shadow onto others. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. If there is anything that we wish to change in the child, we should first examine it and see whether it is not something that could better be changed in ourselves. Every human life contains a potential. If that potential is not fulfilled, then that life was wasted. Through pride we are ever deceiving ourselves, but deep down below the surface of the average conscience a still, small voice says to us, something is out of tune. Wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration of the contraries. To find out what is truly individual in ourselves, profound reflection is needed, and suddenly we realize how uncommonly difficult the discovery of individuality is. It all depends on how we look at things, and not on how things are in themselves. The least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. Nothing has a stronger influence psychologically on their environment, and especially on their children, than the unlived life of the parent. There can be no transforming of darkness into light, and of apathy into movement, without emotion. Shame is a soul-eating emotion. Deep down, below the surface of the average man's conscience, he hears a voice whispering, "There is something not right," no matter how much is rightness supported by public opinion or moral code. Anyone who attempts to do both, to adjust to his group and at the same time pursue his individual goal, becomes neurotic. Nobody, as long as he moves among the chaotic currents of life, is without trouble. Every mother contains her daughter in herself, and every daughter her mother, and every mother extends backwards into her mother, and forwards into her daughter. Without this playing with fantasy, no creative work has ever yet come to birth. The debt we owe to the play of the imagination is incalculable. The first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego. The second half is going inward and letting go of it. The true leader is always led. Nights through dreams tell the myths forgotten by the day. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. Words are animals, alive with a will of their own. Sensation tell us a thing is, thinking tell us what it is this thing is, feeling tells us what this thing is to us. When an inner situation is not made conscious, it appears outside as fate. What if I should discover that the poorest of the beggars and the most impudent of offenders are all within me, and that I stand in need of the alms of my own kindness, that I, myself, am the enemy who must be loved? What then? I shall not commit the fashionable stupidity of regarding everything I cannot explain as a fraud. The bigger the crowd, the more negligible the individual. What you resist persists. Had I left those images hidden in the emotions, I might have been torn to pieces by them. My whole being was seeking for something still unknown, which might confer meaning upon the banality of life. We are born at a given moment, in a given place, and, like vintage years of wine, we have the qualities of the year and of the season in which we are born. If one does not understand a person, one tends to regard him as a fool. I am looking forward enormously to getting back to the sea again, where the overstimulated psyche can recover in the presence of that infinite peace and spaciousness. I must also have a dark side if I am to be whole. The reason for evil in the world is that people are not able to tell their stories. Explore daily the will of God. Midlife is the time to let go of an overdominant ego and to contemplate the deeper significance of human existence. It all depends on how we look at things, and not how they are in themselves. In such doubtful matters, where you have to work as a pioneer, you must be able to put some trust in your intuition and follow your feeling even at the risk of going wrong. faith, hope, love, and insight are the highest achievements of human effort. They are found given by experience. The gods have become our diseases. I am no longer alone with myself, and I can only artificially recall the scary and beautiful feeling of solitude. This is the shadow side of the fortune of love. I shall not commit the fashionable stupidity of regarding everything I cannot explain as a fraud. What you resist persists. Had I left those images hidden in the emotions, I might have been torn to pieces by them. My whole being was seeking for something still unknown, which might confer meaning upon the banality of life.